This is Ray.
And this is Andy.
And this is FDS Local Sports.
Coming at you from, yet again, a new locker room.
Another locker room. We keep getting bumped out of the locker rooms.
We're basically touring locker rooms. The sound is interesting in this one. It's not as buzzy.
Not as buzzy as the last one. Very good, Andy. Very good. Now, Andy, we've got lots of sports to talk about this week. So, and we have a little personal shout out I'm going to give at the end of the show here tonight.
Okay.
But to start off, let's go with our prime sport that we've been talking about. We are heading into week 5. But before we talk about week 5, let's talk about what took place in week 4. I'm talking the Maritime Football League, Andy.
Let's do it. Week 4.
There was a huge game being taken place between Halifax and the Moncton Mustangs this weekend. Andy, how did that game go?
It didn't.
It didn't?
It didn't go.
What? There
was a problem with the venue. I think you might know a little bit more about it than me, but there was some work being done at the field. They had a hard time. I don't know if they attempted to find another field. I don't know. First comment I had was that's way better than just getting pushed out for a car show, which is what happens around here. Right?
Very good. Very good. Yeah. Yes, apparently St. Mary's University was doing some work to the field from what I hear, and the game wasn't able to be played there. They did attempt to find other fields, and apparently they couldn't find that other field. And the interesting thing about this, Andy, is when you look at it, I look at the city of Moncton right now. We've got UDM, which is a rarely used turf field. We have Rocky Stone, we got Bernice McNaughton, and we got Harrison Tremble. There's 4 turf fields in the city of Moncton with our small population. Halifax, you people are looking to get a CFL team, yet you can't find a team for or a field for your Halifax Harbor Hawks? What's going on in Halifax?
This is just Ray expressing his bitter feelings about the fact that we're not getting the CFL team. But, you make a good point. I mean, it's a shame that I guess the fields are probably always being used and everything like that, and it's probably difficult to find a place to make up for it. I say there's so many fields on the highway, on the number 2 highway, as you drive from here to Halifax. Prep one of those things. Let's get out there and play.
Let's go. Now, Andy, how is this going to impact the Mustangs as we move down the road with the fact they haven't gotten this game in?
Well, so, and again, this is information that we got from the team, I guess, but this game is only going to be made up at the end of the season if there's playoff implications.
If there's playoff implications.
So there's 2 things to discuss. Number 1, if I was a player, I would be very disappointed, maybe even a little bit annoyed by that, because there's only 8 games in this season, and I want to play football, so I want to play all the games. Right. So I don't care if there's playoff implications or not. I mean, that's taking a game out of the equation for me, and I'd want to play that game. And then the other point, which Jeannie B brought up earlier, is how could it not have playoff implications? There's only 4 teams in the league.
Right.
I get it. So if it comes down to, let's say things stay the way they are right now, and it's really a battle between the Mustangs and the Wanderers, because we know that Halifax, has that big injury to their quarterback. PEI isn't as strong of a team this year, so really it'll come down to who gets that number 1 seed, and if that game does decide who moves into the number 1 seed and play the number 4 in the playoffs, which is how I assume this works in the MFL.
It's got to be.
Then it's going to get played, but I would want to play it anyways, and it's a shame.
Yeah, it's too bad. Too bad. Let's talk about the one game that did take place in this weekend. We talked about PEI, how they put up a lot of points against Moncton last week. They played against St. John this past weekend.
Right.
St. John went in and rolled the Mariners 43-13.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was kind of a replay of their original meeting, I believe, week 1. I thought PEI was going to ride that momentum into this game and put up some points, but wasn't in the cards this week. St. John rolled them pretty good.
They did. Galacki had another huge game. He had 5 touchdowns, over 300 yards in passing. Plus, he ran for 50 yards. I talked to Coach Jowdry, and Jowdry said that he showed great leadership on and off the field that day. He got the boys prepared, ready to play. Another guy that had a great game, Rob Fox, defensive end. He had 2 sacks and put pressure on the quarterback all day.
Nice.
You had Evan Arnold and Josh Chelsea. They both had 2 receiving touchdowns. And again, that running back, Carnu, he took the ball in for a touchdown as well. So lots of scoring by the Mustangs.
Wanderers.
Sorry, by the Wanderers.
Yeah.
And another big play or 2 big players for them is, I was told, Danny Oliver and Thomas Making. These 2 guys had outstanding games on defense and special teams and kept the team pumped all day. Yep. So the Wanderers look great in this game, and they've got a big game coming up this weekend because they're going to host the week 1 matchup against the Mustangs. And now this game is going to be really interesting because the Mustangs are 3-0 and the Wanderers are 4-1.
Or 3-1?
Sorry, 3-1 and 2-0. And this game could potentially have first place.
For sure.
Right? It's for first place.
The Wanderers are clearly a really strong team, and let's be honest, we were there in game 1. I mean, they beat themselves. I'm not saying the Mustangs couldn't have pulled that game out, but the Wanderers just removed any shot that they were giving themselves. So I'm sure they're angry about that. They're red hot. They're putting up points like crazy. They're a good team. There will be playoff implications for sure. So it's going to be a heck of a rematch.
Well, that game goes this Saturday. I'd love to be there, but I'll tell you why I can't.
There we go.
There you go. That's your MFL update, Andy. And I've got another big Moncton sport to talk to you about. This is one of your loves.
Right.
All
okay.
Right? And it is summertime. And outside of golf, what goes with the summer?
Beer,
true. But what sport goes with the summer outside golf?
Soccer.
Pretty close, but we're going baseball.
Okay.
Right? We're going to start with baseball first, and that is your Moncton Fisher Cats.
Yes, sir.
Moncton Fisher Cats had their home opener on the 27th.
Nice.
They were playing the Fredericton Royals, and in the home opener, they beat the Royals 10-4.
Hey, great job, guys.
Great job. Their second game against the Royals got rained out.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, we'll find out if they're going to play that game over playoff implications. Not quite sure how it works for the senior baseball league,
I guess
but we'll find out.
And I'm a big baseball nerd, really, when it comes down to it. And what I was dying to do is dig into that box score a little bit, see how the pitchers were going, see what kind of batting averages we got out there, just see what was taking place in the game. I can pretty much figure out how a game went from that box score. So I asked Ray to pull it up for me.
I did, and if you go to the Fisher Cats website, monctonfishercats.com, they list the schedule there, but their home opener has no score yet. It does have a link for the box score, but there is no box score there yet.
All right, come on, guys. We're watching. We're going to be updating people on it, so let's get that box score updated.
Let's get the box score
right after
going.
the game.
Reach out to us and send us the box score.
That would be better,
We would love that even better.
If you could do that, that'd be
All
great.
right. So that's your Moncton Fisher Cats. They actually are playing tonight against the Chatham Ironmen at 7:30 here at Kiwanis Park. So maybe when First Down Sports is done here, we'll roll over and catch a little baseball.
Over. Yeah, as a guy from Miramichi, but the opposite side of the river, I'd like to heckle the Chatham team a little bit.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. That's your baseball update.
Awesome.
Now, we love talking football on this show, Andy.
We do,
and we're going to talk. We're going to talk about another form of football.
Yeah. See, I was so excited. I jumped. I jumped ahead a little.
You jumped ahead a little bit. You jumped a little ahead. We are going to be talking about the sport of football that's played with a white round ball with black checker marks on it.
Right. Okay. Also known commonly as soccer. If you have a hard time to figure out.
Soccer.
Yeah.
Across the pond, they call it football.
Football.
All right?
Football.
They have a huge weekend coming up. They have their provincial premier AAA league. Mm-hmm. They have age groups from U13 right up to senior division.
Nice.
There's 10 local teams, and those 10 local teams are going to be playing all home games on Saturday against 10 opponents from around New Brunswick. So there's going to be approximately 450 to 500 soccer players in town this weekend, mainly playing at Bernice McNaught, and there's a couple games at Harrison Tremble as well as over at the CN Park where the fourplex is.
So all 10 of these games are on Saturday?
All 10 are on Saturday. That's a lot of soccer. That's
a lot.
These are high performance players. So these are kids that have tried out for these high performance teams, these elite teams, if you will, and the rosters are set. These kids you're going to see playing on Saturday are the kids that will be playing for these teams throughout the rest of the summer. So should be some great soccer. If you're interested in putting your kid into house league soccer, which there are thousands of kids that play house league soccer in this city, the cutoff for registration is in June, and from what I'm told, if you're under 12 years old, registration's $125, and for anything above U12, it's $140 registration for a kid.
Right, and the cutoff's in June. Do we know if that's early June, mid-June?
It will probably, my guess, it will probably be within the first 10 days of June.
There you go.
Soccer
Get out there.
starts.
Sign up.
Okay. So that's the soccer update. And again,
awesome.
It's a form of football. We'll update you on football throughout the season. Just make sure you get us some information on it.
It's in our wheelhouse for sure.
There you go.
Yeah, that was a baseball reference.
Now, Andy, we talked about the fact that I can't make the Mustangs game this weekend. That'd be a fantastic game to go to see the Wanderers.
Absolutely.
But I have stepped out of retirement, and I'm going to be lacing up my skates this weekend to play in the Hockey Heroes tournament to raise funds for the Heart and Stroke Foundation.
As much as you would love to be at that Wanderers Mustangs game, I would love to be at this game to see you lace them up and come out of retirement. So let's hear about it.
I'm going to get you tickets. All right, I got tickets that I'm going to be getting access to on Friday.
An inside guy, this guy. All right.
Last year, First Down Sports attended the Friday night draft, and we had a huge camera. Remember that camera that we got?
What a fiasco that was. What a night. Yep.
That was, whose production was that again?
That was a Dunn Brothers production. I won't tell you which one, but, that's true. Our cameraman saved the day, but
so we last year grabbed a bunch of NHL players as well as some great female players. Danielle Goyette, we had her on. We interviewed all these players, and this year, First Down Sports, I'm going to be attending the draft as a player.
So you're gonna, instead of covering the event, you're gonna be neck deep in that event, trying to figure out who you're gonna draft.
That's it.
Trying to figure out what draft you're gonna drink. There's a lot of that going around there.
There's a lot of draft choices that night, but I will stay true to Moosehead. Just so you know, it's all about Moosehead.
Scary good.
Now, just so you know, there's this tournament again. They raise tons of money for Heart and Stroke every single year. We've got some big former NHLers attending again this year. I'm just going to name a couple. You got Brad May, Trottier, Dennis Vial, Marty McSorley, Wendell Clark, Sherry Piper, and here's two new guys, which I'm really looking forward to meeting. Mike Modano.
Oh, nice.
Who, if you would ask me, because everybody knows I haven't been really watching hockey for the last 5 years, I wouldn't have known Mike Modano was retired.
You didn't know Mike Modano was
retired? I didn't know
retired?
Mike Modano was retired.
Okay, I would have known that.
You would have known that?
Yeah.
And Todd Bertuzzi.
Remember
Todd Bertuzzi? He's going to be there. Number 44. He'll be there this weekend.
I see Marty McSorley's be a lot of fun too.
Oh, he's a great guy. I met him in the first Heart and Stroke Foundation tournament, and you talk about a guy, he's got scars all over his face, but a fantastic storyteller.
Yeah,
fantastic.
For sure. And I mean, the highlight of last year, and it's a shame you won't be at this year, but George Larocque was quite the riot last year, so that was a good time. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. The name of our team, just so you know, now the name of our team is called the Finnish Elites. All right. Now, we just had a 3-game warm-up series against RBC, who is captained by your buddy, Tony King.
Tony King is
the captain of them. We beat them 2 out of 3 games.
Okay.
But I will tell you, the Finnish Elites are in big trouble heading into this tournament. In Game 3, Tony King did some heavy recruiting of some young players, and they came out and whipped us. I think the score was around 15-3.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not on Tony King's team.
I'm not on Tony King's team.
And your brother Chris is on your team, or
on my team. He's no longer with the RBC team.
Okay, well then you know what? You guys are going to be at the casino, and I'm feeling like betting, and I will put $20 right now on the table, Ray, and I'll give you 5-1 odds that Tony King's team drafts Brad May. And there's no way around it, and I can only imagine that your brother is going to be just hoping and praying that you guys get your pick before them, because if you do, then you will be drafting Brad May. There's no way around it.
It's very possible.
It's a race. It's basically every year this thing's a race to Brad May.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I have a feeling Tony King's going to win that bet this year with the support coming from his team, and we'll see what player we land with the elites. But we've got some great guys on our team. We've got, just to name a couple guys on our team, we've got a local hero here. His name's Troy DeWare.
Okay.
Now this guy is fast.
I like these notes.
All right. He is fast. He's got great moves. And this guy could have been a fantastic hockey player, but there's one problem with this guy, Andy. Do you know what it is?
I think I can guess.
What?
He's not very accurate.
He can't hit the net to save his life. All right. Well, he could be 2 feet in front of the net, and he's putting it over the boards every time.
Well, shots on goal are overrated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who needs those?
It's unbelievable. You've got my brother Chris. He's famous for his no-look pass.
Right.
Do you know why I call it no-look pass?
Why is that?
Because if he does pass, he wasn't looking to make it.
Oh, gotcha.
Right?
Oh, that's good.
There's a tip on my brother Chris.
Yeah.
You got Todd and Brad LeBlanc. These are our two muscle heads. They're going to be controlling the ice out there. If anything goes on with us out there, the two LeBlanc boys have got us covered.
Oh, they'll mix it up. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And Donnie Saunders. Donnie Saunders. This is another fan of the podcast. He's going to be in the game all weekend. But through the whole weekend of planning for this tournament, it's been a long plan. All Donnie wants to plan is where are we having breakfast, where are we having lunch, where are we having dinner. He's more interested in what we're going to be eating before and after our games. Wow. So that's Donnie Saunders.
Sounds like a good squad.
That's our Hockey Heroes tournament. Now, we got lots of other great players. We'll update you on how we did. We played 3 times this weekend. On Saturday, we play at 3:15, 5:30, and on Sunday at 10.
Awesome.
So we got a great schedule. It's going to be a lot of fun. So hope everybody that's involved with the Hockey Heroes has a great time this weekend.
You're going to need multiple bags of ice in about 3 days to recover.
You're absolutely right. I'll be taking lots of Advil. All right, Andy, look, before we get out of here this week, I've got to give a huge shout-out to a particular person from here in New Brunswick. He's from the St. John region. Mm-hmm. His name is Chris Hopkins, known as Hoppy by other coaches and players around the province.
Yep.
This guy, I first met him, I'm pretty sure he was with the coaching staff of Mount A.
Okay.
And you always love to see Hopkins on the sideline. He's always a big guy, big smile on his face. You know you're going to have a great game with him on the sideline. He brings a lot to the team. But not just Mount A. This guy has been with Football New Brunswick. He's been running clinics for coaches, players, you name it. This guy has been doing stuff for the province of New Brunswick in football for as long as I remember.
Yeah.
He's been heavily involved with the under 16s and under 18s, not just for New Brunswick football, but right across Canada. And on May 1st, he accepted a role with Carleton University.
Nice.
As their running back coach as well as their recruiting coordinator. Mm-hmm. So I want to give a huge shout out. Congratulations to Chris. Big friend of the show. I interviewed him very early on in this podcast. I can't wait to do it again when he's a head coach of a university or maybe even a CFL team. I told him we're going to keep those connections.
Yeah.
It's because of guys like this, the term #506football was even created.
506.
So, Chris, and let me just tell you this one other thing, Andy. He is working during the week for Carleton, and on the weekends, he's flying back to New Brunswick to be on the sideline with these under 18s and U16 kids during these summer camps, because they're preparing for their national championships.
Awesome.
So great work, Chris.
Great work.
Love you. I'm going to miss you on the Mount A sideline, but hopefully we'll get to see you on the sideline again in the near future.
Yeah, congrats on the new gig, Chris. And before we get out of here, I got a special shout out to the MFL's oldest player, Donnie Mitchell. Thanks a lot, Donnie, for watching the video last week, taking the time to leave us a really nice comment on our website. That was awesome. It meant a lot to us.
It meant a lot to us. And the previous oldest person who we thought was in the league, Mark Crandall.
It was all a sham.
It's all a sham, and he has yet to leave a comment on our videos.
Barely even talks to us, that guy.
There you go.
Anyway, there's your local sports update for the week.
Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week.